Let's just tell people it's a ghost.
Your pillow
like that.
underneath it kind of looks like a Dorito to me.
Oh, it's a squid.
It's a Funyun.
Oh, cool. A Funyun.
A Funyun. Amazing. Well,
So good.
welcome to episode 3
Welcome back.
of Ink Stained
Welcome.
Podcast. The long
How are you,
pause
ladies?
was not because I forgot what our podcast name was. It was for
Not at all.
it was for the drama.
A dramatic effect. Awesome. Well, it's good to see both of you. Yeah, I'm in a different state. I moved back to be with these two.
Listeners, me and Sagan did a little fist pump and dance party in the air because we're hyped
Yeah.
that she's back.
She had to move
Yeah.
across the country specifically just for us. No other reason, just for us.
None.
None.
Just to be close to these two.
Yeah.
Not just close, but in the same state. And like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, 20, well, actually 20 minutes away. But
Probably 20.
anyways, it doesn't matter. I have moved. I've started a new job. I'm working at an aquarium. And it's super cool. I got to go into the penguin enclosure the other day and hang out with the penguins, and I was freezing, but I loved every minute of it, and it was awesome. So it's off to a good start so far.
Living the dream.
Yeah, that's
I am.
awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So that's my update.
Nice.
Do we have any updates, Bailey? We're just
My life's pretty boring.
same old.
I've-
Natalie's in
I've
the
been,
state. That's it.
Yeah, that's the most exciting
What?
thing. I've just been sewing a lot lately. So that's been fun. And that is really it.
Nice.
So,
What is everyone drinking today?
Well, I've got some apple cider again. Hot.
Ooh,
It's,
yummy.
It's better this
that's
time.
a good weather.
Because last month it was 100 degrees outside. And now it's like 68 degrees outside. So,
That's way fun.
yeah.
I'm drinking Fizz. Let's see, did I remember what I got?
For those that are outside of Utah, Fizz is a soda drinking company, company.
You thought soda shops were 50s only? Not in Utah.
Thank you.
Utah is 50s.
Yeah.
It went back. Mine has Sprite Zero, lime, and raspberry. Fresh lime. Like a cherry raspberry Ricky or something like that. So, very delicious.
I am drinking. I didn't read the mug until just now because it's not really my mug, but I'm drinking kombucha, grape juice kombucha, in a Bob Burgers mug that says, "I'm no hero. I put on my bra one boob at a time."
I'm not sure how you could put on a bra one boob at a time.
I'm not either. I was trying to picture that in my head.
I mean, I guess like I put the bra on and then I like situate
Adjust.
and put both like one at a time that way.
You gotta lift it up at the same time,
Yeah,
though.
got it. My grandma used to like I'd put a bra on.
Yeah.
My grandma would shake it. Get him in there. Get him in there.
Yeah, my mom. Oh, sorry, Mom, you're gonna hear this.
Oh,
Everyone.
speaking of mom, we have an update after this about
Yeah.
Robin.
She taught me to always lean forward and pull up on my bra straps to get them really snug in there. I don't do it anymore, but
Get a little perk up in the girls. Our mom was
Go for
really upset with us after our podcast came out last month about Twilight because she was offended. She was not the reason both of us got into Twilight.
so a fact check from last episode. Apparently, my mom got me and Bailey into reading Twilight. So, just a little update. Also, I should mention that the book Sagan talked about last week that she was reading, Legend Born by Tracy Dion. She also wanted me to mention that I got her to read that book as well. So, Mom, shout outs to you. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you and love you.
Yes.
Is anyone reading any books they want to chat about real quick?
I finally joined in the excitement of the book called... Frick, what is it called? Hold on.
You're really
please pause.
excited about it, I can tell.
Icebreaker.
Oh.
The like
what's
hockey
that one?
The
Oh.
hockey romance. And I was just really like off put by it. I don't know why. I nothing to do with hockey, nothing to do with the author. But then she came out with a third book in the series that someone talked about, and I sounded like I really would like the third book. But then they were like, you should probably read the other two. You don't need to. But it's actually, I really loved it. I'm sad I waited so long to read it, but it's a hockey romance. Communication was there pretty much the whole time, and I really liked that.
Sagan, are you reading anything?
I've read a ton of books since we last chatted. I finished Legendborn, like we had talked about.
Ooh, so good.
Yeah, I finished the second of a series that I forget the name of, Filthy Rich Vampires. And I started the third one. I'm like maybe halfway through it. And then there's one book that I really liked that I read, and it was called Do Your Best, and it's about a girl that is like into paranormal, and she like dispels ghosts from buildings or whatever. And then she meets a guy that is an archaeologist, and he does not believe in that at all, and they have to kind of work together to get rid of this castle. Enemies to lovers, chef's kiss. Love enemies to lovers. So
What was it called? Sorry.
Do Your Best is
Okay.
what it's called. Yeah,
Love and enemies to lover.
yeah, it was good.
Lovers.
And then I have been reading for months one of Katie Roberts' new books. I don't remember which one it is. Midnight Sin, I think. But I am like halfway through that one. But that one's been going on for months now.
One you go back to in between other books.
The other ones are audiobooks, and I can slam through them while doing homework. Real books, I get in bed and I'm like, too tired, I'm out. So,
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, what about you?
Cool. Yeah, I have been reading Legendborn again, and then the second book of Legendborn, Bloodmarked, and I'm almost done with Bloodmarked for the second time, and I love it. I've also been reading this book called The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava, I think. I'm sorry if I pronounced her last name wrong, but I really like it. It's cute. It's like a contemporary friends to lovers, like co-worker romance. But basically the whole story premise is that Ember lies to get a job. And so then moving forward, it's the truth according to Ember. So I really like it so far. I'm not done, but it's very cute. Yeah, I think it's awesome. It's good. It's been good so far. And then one book that I've been reading for probably 6 months, kind of like you, Sagan, just one book I go back to when I'm in between books, is called, oh crap, I can't remember. The Edinburgh Serpent or something like that. The Serpent of Edinburgh. I don't know who it's by, so I'm sorry, but it's kind of slow to get into, but it's interesting. So that's why I keep going back to it.
Interesting.
So
I'm still waiting for
yeah.
Bloodmark to come in at the library, so as soon as that one does, I'll read it and we can chat.
yes,
Bailey, get on it. Everybody else, get on it. Legendborn.
get on it. I've literally told like 3 of my new coworkers about the books. I'm like, if you like King Arthur, if you like this stuff, read it. So I will forever get anyone to read that book.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm going to read it. I just need to prioritize it.
Yeah, you do. It should be a number 1 priority book.
It will be.
Anyways, with that, we do have, before we get to our exciting announcement, I just want to say that this episode is going to have spoilers. And some of the books we're going to be talking about do have explicit content in the books. So we will be discussing smut in this episode as well. So if you don't want to listen to it, if you have little kiddos around, maybe don't listen until you're able to.
Headphones.
Or put your headphones in.
Or put on headphones, yeah. Simple solution.
Well, let's say what our episode is. It's spooky month. So we're going to be talking about all things vampires,
Monster.
all things monsters. So
Anything
anyways.
spooky.
Yeah. Happy Halloween month.
Happy
Yeah.
Halloween month.
Lovely.
Super excited for
will
Halloween.
Love me a
Be
good
some good
October.
reads for people to listen to or read.
With that, we're going to get into our spooky books now. So, we're going to kick it off with a true classic. I felt like this needed to be included in this episode because it is the origin of monster stories. And that book, I'm sure everyone is familiar with the story, maybe hasn't read the book, but this is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It is an amazing book. If you have not read Frankenstein, it's truly a classic. Basically, Mary Shelley wrote this in a competition between two other bros, basically, back in the day. And she just wrote a killer of a book. And it's about Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein. As you all know, wants to become someone who can create life from death. And anyways, goes on that crazy story of Frankenstein and the monster. So anyways, I love this book. I genuinely recommend it because it is so good. I actually am going to reread it in October, so this month. And you all should also read it if you have not, because she writes really well. And it just kind of makes you think about some big life things, life and death, God, creation. Pretty interesting. So go read it. And I didn't want to go too much into this because we have a lot of other books that we want to talk about that are more contemporary. But just wanted to give a huge shout out to a classic there.
Girls supporting girls, you know?
Yes.
Amen.
Frankenstein was always my favorite monster. Don't know why. My parents also had a Frankenstein, I think it was Herman Munster mask. And when I was a child, terrified me. And if I even saw a corner of it popping out of like the Halloween box, I would go into hysterics. I would be inconsolable. So, don't know why I liked Frankenstein while I also was terrified of Frankenstein.
Terrified. Enemies to lovers started young.
Oh, see, when I went to Universal Studios a few years ago, Frankenstein and we took a nice picture together. So, enemies to lovers.
If you want to share it, we should post it on our
Okay, I will.
Instagram. That would be funny.
Our nephews, so my dad has this giant Frankenstein that he puts up every year for Halloween, and our nephews love it, but they were also terrified of it as well. And one year, oh gosh, they were young, but my dad had it set up in the living room just to like test it, make sure it was still good before he put it outside. And my nephew was in another room, and he went to go into the living room where Frankenstein was, and he's like running into the room where Frankenstein was. He totally forgot it was in there, and you just hear him go, "Ah, no!" And just like runs out, just terrified. Oh, I feel so bad, but it was so funny just how like it was a nope moment.
I'm out.
Yeah. So apparently there's this, it's a running theme, you know?
Yeah.
Frankenstein,
Yeah.
the monster.
I don't know why he's so terrifying, because, I don't know, I feel like the different renditions of him, like, young Frankenstein, he's kind of a goofy dude, you know?
Oh, it's my favorite movie.
So good. Herman Munster.
One of them.
I don't know if Herman Munster is technically Frankenstein, or a Frankenstein's monster, but they're all just kind of goofy, you know?
But that's why I love the book, though, because it really goes into, like, why Frankenstein, or not Frankenstein, but why the monster is scary. Mm-hmm. And, like, why it creates this, like, duality of life and death, and, like, how people respond to that. So, go read it.
Okay.
Or watch any of the movies.
I remember growing up and us watching Frankenstein a lot.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein. And we watched it like 2 years ago, and we were like, what the heck is this? There's just so much stuff that it's like...
Lots of innuendos. Yeah.
Yeah.
What great knickers you have. Nice. Thank you, Doctor. Would you like to go in the roll in the hay?
My mom,
right here, right now.
My mom always
me.
loved the lady when you said her name and the horses would neigh. Just thought that was the funniest.
I can't do a horse neigh, but that is Alex's favorite thing too.
That's amazing.
I've watched that movie way too many times, but I will continue to do that. So, now that we have chatted about the monster and Frankenstein, let's get into some smut.
Okay, my book that I read specifically just for this podcast is called I Am in Love with Mothman. And in the picture, there's a girl in the cover holding her phone, looking all damsel in distress, with Mothman behind her. But this book, I saw, there's 3 books in this series, so which is wild to me.
They're not old Mothman, are they? Like different?
No, they are.
Oh.
It's I'm in love with Mothman, I'm engaged to Mothman, and I married Mothman. So
oh my gosh.
basically, we are following this girl named Heather, who she has grown up being like a social media influencer since she was a baby. Her mom was an influencer, whatever. She's like, they make, I don't know, there was like this whole weird thing. Not that being bisexual is weird, but just how they went about talking about her being bisexual was just a little interesting. But anyways, so she is like, and I'll get into that later, but she's like, I need a break. I can't have any more social media. I can't post another thing. She's like, I'm gonna buy a freaking cabin in the woods. So she goes, buys this random cabin that's the first one on her Zillow app or whatever. And then she goes, she likes the town, she's getting situated. And one night she's like walking like late or something, and like this thing chases her, and she's like, oh, that's weird, I've had one too many drinks. And then just like weird thing that it's a pretty gnarly storm, and Mothman falls into her roof. So she goes, checks it in, pulls this big ass winged creature into her room, or into her house, nurses him back to health, and she's like, she goes to sleep not thinking much about it, and just leaves him on the couch. And then,
why would be concerned about a monster, a winged monster in our house by yourself?
Totally normal. Totally normal.
So fine. So she wakes up, and I could be getting this wrong, but he like transforms into like a human version of himself. So he still has like the antennas, he's got his wings, he's got red eyes, but he's human.
What's the girl in Mantis?
Mantis. Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
I'll be honest with you, I thought that's what Mothman was. I thought he was just a man that had wings and antennae.
No, it's like a bird, like a moth bird.
Oh. So he's definitely more monster in the legends, and in this book he's more human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Clearly I'm not up to date on my Mothman physique, so sorry.
Yeah, I'm not at all. I'm not really. I just know that he's more creature.
Okay.
So anyways, she's like, ooh, I feel the need. I just need to stay with him and take care of him and nurse him back to health.
The need or the lust?
both. She immediately was turned on by him. She's like,
Ooh.
Immediately.
immediately.
She's like,
I'm just,
a monster in distress? Okay.
and so.
Okay, but seriously though, relatable. Monster in distress? Okay.
Okay.
We were
With my
taught
arm.
right? Belle and the Beast.
And so
We
couldn't
couldn't quit
connect.
that.
Yeah, so they, at the end of the book, there's like questions and whatnot. And it was like, did you see the connections to Beauty and the Beast? And it's like, oh my gosh, there was. So,
Called
you
it.
got it,
There
Nat.
you go.
Anyways, so nursed him back. There also, in the meantime, there's this dude who's a monster hunter. So that's like the big bad guy. He's like, I gotta find this moth. You gotta let me know if you see anything weird. And she's like, oh, okay. And then this is where like the weird thing comes, is like his sister. She's like lusting over Mothman, which she calls him Moth. I didn't say that. Created that name for him. He's never said, and he can speak, but he's never said his name is Moth or not.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
Hey, Moth.
hey, Moth.
I love this.
And so she goes in and she like sees the monster hunter's sister, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm like so in love with this girl. She's gorgeous. Too bad. I don't know. She figures out she has a partner. She's like, too bad. Otherwise, I'd be living my bisexual fantasy. And I'm like, okay, but you have this Mothman that you're obsessed with. Why? I just thought it was interesting. But we're here for a bisexual queen. Love it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's just like how she wrote the story to try and like, I almost felt forced to me, which is fine. But
Well,
anyway, so
it was Mothman.
it was always Mothman.
Have you guys
At the end of the day, Mothman.
Mothman? Have you guys seen the statue of Mothman's booty?
No.
Oh,
No.
there's this statue of Mothman.
What?
I don't know where it is, but my sister likes to show it to me. It's a statue of Mothman,
That is-
but in behind his booty is bootylicious, and it's so
a bubble butt?
bootylicious. Yeah, it's so bootylicious that people touch it all the time, so it's all shiny.
Oh, okay. I actually think I know what you're talking about now that you say that.
I need to look it up.
Yeah,
That's
That is
awesome.
hilarious.
everybody loves a Mothman.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
if you need a good book about Mothman.
Mothman. Yeah, it was good. I gave it 3.5. I think stars. Smut was great. I mean, how could it not be when you're fucking a Mothman, you know?
So, spice scale.
Spice scale? Out of 10? Is that what our thing is?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
I'd say it's like a 7.
Wow.
6.5, 7.
Is it porn with plot or plot with porn?
I felt like it was pretty equal. A lot more, probably more porn, but it was pretty equal, I thought. Because, like, you had the whole story of the monster hunter and then whatnot, but
I feel like there's potential with this monster hunter. Like, maybe Mothman.
no, he was an
is bi.
asshole.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There could have been
spoiler
potential.
alert. There could have been, but no.
I'm always looking for those enemies to lovers. You know, if you find somebody that's like your natural
Immediately
enemy,
drawn to that
bam,
one.
you get over here.
So, but yeah, it was fun. I thought their banter and their relationship was cute and whatnot, but there's just something that was missing, I thought.
Interesting.
So,
Well, thank you, Bae.
Yeah.
I think with that enemies to lovers, that's a good segue into our next book. This book is one that all three of us have read. And it is wonderful. I enjoyed it a lot. We are talking about Bride by Allie Hazelwood. And Bailey is showing the book cover from her Kindle.
I really
on the
like
screen.
this book cover. But I'm also a fan of like black and white with one color, specifically red. Beautiful.
Like Twilight?
Wait a minute.
What? Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. I need to back up now. But no, Twilight covers I like them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one
Well,
specifically,
those are black and red.
like it has silver and like the physical book cover. I just think it's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the main character, Misery, on the front, who's white. Well, she's not white, but she is
A vampire.
Her whole
vampire.
outline, she's
She
black
is
outline,
the
white
epitome
color.
of white.
And then behind her is the werewolf.
Oh.
What is his name? I can't. Lo.
Flo.
Sorry.
Low.
Forgot his
I loved Flo.
I did too.
I loved him
did
so
too.
much.
I actually really liked
this-
Misery. I thought
did
she
too.
was
I liked-
awesome.
I liked her a lot.
Do we want to give a summary for anyone who hasn't read? Well, if you haven't read the book, right, stop listening,
Go read it. Go
and
read
come
it.
back and listen to this episode.
Although one of my friends, she read Bride and she was not into it. She did not.
I've heard a
Oh,
lot
really?
of people. I was looking up like what people were thinking of the book, and a lot of people didn't like a lot of. They were like, it started off so strong, and then I think, spoiler alert, there was the part where, which I don't fully remember. This is where they found out that they were actually mates, and then he kind of like denied it. Where in the before in the book, he was like, "I'll do anything. You just tell me what you need, and I'm yours," kind
That's
of thing.
fair. That's fair.
But I don't remember that, so
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I'm not a big fan of the fated mates trope. I just am not into it. But this one, I kind of blocked it out. I just really liked Misery. I thought she was great.
Yeah,
So, let's give a little summary of the book, just for a refresher for our listeners. So, Misery Lark, the main character, is a vampire, and she is really great, as we've been talking about her.
she's also
Go ahead.
one of her dad's a really powerful councilman, and so she is in that family.
Maybe we should say too.
World.
There's like three factions, 3 worlds. There's the werewolves, the vampires, and the humans, and they're all like battling, making alliances. Just they don't like each other. Nobody likes anybody. So her dad is like the top dog of vampires.
I think he didn't like her because she was rebellious and like didn't necessarily
have a-
stick to. She had a brother.
Yeah,
She
and the
has
dad
a
liked the brother, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's because she was best friends with the human, and he was like, "You can't be best friends with humans." And then flip a switch. They make each other, Lo, the werewolf, and Misery marry each other.
Yeah. So, big picture, Misery is the daughter of the powerful vampire guy, councilman, whatever. Lo, Morland, is the alpha of the werewolves. And then Misery has a best friend who is human. And there's some shady business going on all around because, as Sagan was saying, there's just like lots of politics and crazy things going on between the 3 groups. And Misery thinks that Lo, who she is forced to marry for an alliance between the werewolf and the vampires, she thinks that Lo kidnapped her best friend because her best friend went missing.
So she's like,
Or,
yeah,
like-
I'll marry him
Yeah.
because I want to go figure out where my best friend is.
Yeah. I forgot about that part. I forgot about that subplot.
Yeah.
And then they fall in love.
So anyways,
you know, The end.
The tension was there pretty early on, I felt like.
Yes. Yeah, and it was created pretty well because at their wedding, he walks in and he realizes that she's his mate, and he's just like, this is like some sick joke, and then so he's pretty standoffish to her the whole time, and she has no idea why. So it starts off they're they're not into each other.
Starts off with like a strong relationship.
Totally strong. She thinks he's like this psycho werewolf that kidnapped her best friend, and he's like, vampire, really? So
I
great.
liked it because I don't think I've seen another werewolf vampire retelling book that I've searched for necessarily, but I thought these did a really good job of combining the two. So I really liked it.
Yeah.
And
So are we going to dress?
yeah, it was Allie. So first off, this is Allie Hazelwood's first paranormal / not contemporary book, I'm pretty sure. And of course she had to hit it off with a bang with nodding and werewolves and
it got on the New York Times bestseller list.
Did. How
Congratulations,
iconic is
Allie
that?
Hazelwood.
Yeah. Can I tell you something?
You can tell the whole audience something.
Sorry, this is sorry for Cole. Cole looked at me last night and he went, "Can I ask you a really serious question?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What is nodding?" And I'm like, "Wait, you really don't know what it is?" He's like, "Well, I've just kind of like assumed, and I didn't want to." And then I was like, I told him, and then he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "It's a real thing in nature." And I was like, "I know that from Natalie."
Okay, so before we started this podcast, we had a Marco Polo group that we would talk about our books. And Bailey and I are talking about nodding, and then Natalie comes on, does this like 5-minute long Marco Polo explaining how nodding is in nature, and it's a real thing. Very factual, very scientific, and Bailey and I are just like, yeah, smut.
Smut, let's go. Give me some of that in my book.
It was awesome. I don't know what book was it Bride?
It was Bride.
Yeah.
No,
it was either
was it Bride or
or
the next book? I think it was Fake Mate or Bride.
No,
It was-
But we are
Bride
going to
first.
talk about.
It was Bride, because we read Bride and then we read
And then,
Fake Mate.
yeah.
Okay, so it was Bride.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, thank you, Natalie.
yeah,
We
thanks
might-
for the laughs.
We might have known, but now we
course.
really know.
Now we really know.
And now I really know as well, because I had not read anything with that in it before. So then I read another book right after it with more. So
Yeah. I told you my first
Anyways.
experience with that trope, right?
I think so, but we can hear it again.
Let's hear it.
It was a Germoini, my very first Germoini
Oh,
fic.
yes.
Was it the one that I read?
Yes.
Okay,
And-
that was my first time too.
I was like, I've never read fan fiction. I was like, I don't know, 28 or something. And I just searched Draco and Hermione because I was like, oh, enemies to lovers, they'd be amazing. Pick the #1 most hit one. And I'm reading it, and there's alpha, there's omegas, there's this nodding thing, and I'm like, what? What is happening?
To depth with
Yes.
the nodding in that one.
Yes, like genuinely what is happening?
No pun intended on that sentence. But
My favorite thing too is like there's a lot of Germoini like recs happening right now on Book Talk and everywhere. And I'm not kidding, this is like one of the #1 most hit fics and nobody talks about it. I haven't
Really?
seen
Wow.
it recommended, and that's why I read it, is because it was at the top and I was like, yeah, let's just start off here, you know? Wild.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Because that was my first Hermione, yeah, her name is Hermione, wow. Hermione and Draco fanfic together, and then adding Nodding and Omegaverse. Like, I've read other werewolf books, but I don't think they've had to do with knotting.
Yeah.
Or talked about knotting.
Yeah. So if you're interested, All You Want, and I think it's by Senlin Yu, but I'm not 100% sure, but it's called All You Want.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. Anyway, we can move into book number 2 with more knotting, if we would like.
Let's do it.
Well, before we move on, what is the spice scale for
Bride?
I don't remember.
I'll be honest with you, I remember there being spice, but I don't remember the spice. So I think it's kind of 4.
It's like more
5.
more tension and like the excitement of that. I don't know. I was thinking today, I was like, there's such like a difference for me personally between like sweet, like Mothman sex versus like in the rating scale of things versus like smut and mafia romance or like
I just really
it's
like
just like it's so different.
I like the idea of you sitting there going, sweet Mothman sex. Yes.
Does that work? Does that's what you're thinking about today at work? Everyone else in the office is just like, oh, baby's doing a great job, and you're just like,
Romantic Mothman sex. Yes.
Oh, that's great. I would give this book probably like I would say probably like a 4-ish.
That's what I'm going.
On that spice scale, just because like you both said, it wasn't super memorable. It was there, but it wasn't super memorable.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I also would give this book like probably 3.5, 4 stars. I enjoyed it.
I think I gave it 4. I loved it.
I think I was either a 3 or 4. I don't remember, but somewhere in there.
I will note there is a long list of content warning for Bride. So just a heads up, read those if you want to before you read Bride.
Yes.
But with that, let's move on.
So some more content warnings.
Oh yeah. This is a book called Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson.
When love is a whole different animal.
Okay. All right. That is the theme of Mothman right there.
Hey,
And Fake Mate.
That just reminded me. I wanted to tell you a quote from Mothman. I'm so sorry. I'm jumping back to Mothman.
Let's go back to... I'm still stuck on Mothman, I'll be honest with you.
Okay. I think you need to read it. So the quote, I don't even know what she was talking about, but it's, the men I've dated in the past have been built like twigs. This man is a whole forest.
Oh.
That is so cheesy.
I laughed so hard. Read it.
Mothman might be for you if you've ever wanted to date a whole forest.
Whole forest. What a way.
I don't even know what that means. Like, I'll be honest with you.
I don't either. The whole sentence is, I'm dazed by his touch. His thighs are warm beneath mine, thick and strong, like the base of a tree. The men I've dated have built like twigs. This man is the whole forest.
All right.
So like,
All right, so we're like leaning hard into that forest nature
Yeah.
metaphor.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
sorry to interject on the fake mate. I just remembered I wanted to share that one.
Now I'm gonna be at school and I'm gonna go romantic sex with a whole forest.
And Mothman.
Oh wait,
No.
Mothman's there too. My bad.
So,
All right.
anyways,
All right.
there's that. If you weren't hooked before, I hope you're hooked now.
Oh, I'm downloading it tonight. I need you all to know that I'm currently pushing the want to read button for I'm in love with Mothman. So
I feel like we need to do a follow-up post all about Mothman.
For sure.
Oh, Mothman.
Yeah.
Amazing. But really, let's get into the next book. Fake
Yes.
mates. More mates. More nodding. Alpha, Omega.
More werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely forgot her name was Mackenzie. Very honest. But
Me too.
the main girl
Yeah.
who is an Omega. Her name is Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And the main man is
Noah.
and he is an Alpha, but it's a secret.
But, well, and Mackenzie also doesn't like to share that she's an Omega because she's had really bad experiences dating in the past where the people dating her were only dating her because they wanted to know what it was like.
Yeah.
With an Omega.
Yeah. If we're gonna,
So.
like, I don't know. It's all about the female experience. Once men learn something about you, they like to exploit it for their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I got from that when she was, like, wanting to suppress her Omega-ness because men take advantage of it. I was like, this is commentary on social culture right now.
Yeah.
Amen.
For sure.
Maybe not just
So-
right now. Maybe just...
All of
Period.
time.
Yeah.
Throughout history.
Yeah.
Anyways, Mackenzie and Noah both work in a hospital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And was it Mackenzie's grandma who was like trying to set her up with all of this, or was it her mom? Was it her grandma?
Her grandma.
Grandma.
Yeah, her grandma was like so worried about her. She's like, you need to have little pups because I'm getting old. And so that's what the grandma sounded like to me in my head. Anyways, so she was like trying to set her up on all of these dates, and she's like, no, grandma, I'm dating someone. And the grandma was like, wait, who? And she's like, on the phone with her grandma, and she's in the break room at the hospital. She turns, and Noah walks in, and he's like renowned in the hospital, like super awesome doctor, amazing, but he is also known for being a complete dick and like very put off and like
Grumpy.
super grumpy. And like everyone just thinks he's so mean, but like he's really good at his job, and like he doesn't date.
Mm-hmm.
He's off limits basically.
Grumpy
And so anyway,
sunshine.
she's on the phone with her grandma, and she's like, who is this guy? And she like turns and sees Noah walks in, and she can't think of anything else to say. And so she's like, Noah Taylor. And he like looks over at her, and she's like, anyways, gotta go, bye, and hangs up on her grandma. So that then begins their
Marriage
situationship.
Not marriage of convenience, but
I would
dating
say
of
situationship.
Yeah. Fake dating.
over dating, fake dating. And it benefited Noah as well as Mackenzie because it, like we mentioned earlier, at least I don't know actually if we mentioned it or not, but he was suppressing Alpha by taking the medicine because he didn't want to flaunt and have people and Omegas and whatever drawn to him and deal with all that nonsense of dating. So,
And also in the workplace, they didn't want
right.
an Omega an Alpha, because they, in this world, Alphas tended to be like really easily
Aggravated and
aggravated, and it could, very aggressive. And so it wouldn't be safe to have an Alpha as like the head surgeon or whatever he was in the department, because he was up for a promotion. So it wouldn't be good for him to be an Alpha because of the stereotypes.
So he wanted a fake mate, and so he had to up the offer she was giving him of just fake dating.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So,
And then,
Anyways.
they couldn't handle it. And
the temptation was too strong.
I mean, because like there's so much that happens too. Didn't something happen to Mackenzie where she like got hurt?
Oh, she got
no.
in heat. She went through heat, and then
what it was.
So,
You know, when I'm reading these books, I'm like, yeah, you're in this world, it's totally normal. And then us
Of
just
course you go
casually
through
sitting
heat.
here on a Thursday night talking about, oh yeah, then she just went through heat. It's like, what?
I
what
know.
are you listening to?
Well, in my mind, I'm like, no, she definitely got hurt. Like something was going on. And no, that was right.
Anyway,
Can we talk about the storyline of the dude who, like, was Noah's arch nemesis in the...
yeah.
I did not like him. I didn't like the story connected to him.
He was
I get that there was
thumbs down.
needed something.
So, yeah, just so in case people need a reminder. So, Noah, again, was up for a promotion, and there was this other guy who wanted the job as well. And he hated Noah because Noah was really good at his job, and he wasn't really good at his job. And he kind of like had to, suck up, do things. And he also wasn't really like a good person. And so anyways, he didn't believe that Mackenzie... Oh, also, he was a gross human, or whatever he was, because he was, like, really weird around Mackenzie. Like, just gave you, like, kind of, like,
Creep
gross vibes. But he was really weird around Mackenzie and, like, would always be, like, trying to be, like, charming and nice around people, suck up. And anyways, he was the one who basically... tried to blackmail Mackenzie and Noah because he didn't think that their relationship was real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of not a good
Yeah, he was awful. I didn't like him.
character.
But he did bring them together, so
That's true.
And
like, I get
he
we
was a
needed him. I
well-written
just didn't like
character.
him.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a well-written character in the fact that, like, he made you feel ick. Like, he enticed emotion.
It's like
so.
Professor Umbridge. Like, that's a fantastic
Yes.
character because everybody hates her.
Right.
Yes,
You know?
so much
Too
hatred.
true.
Yeah.
Spice scale, real quick.
Oh, yes.
I felt like it was more spicier than Bride, so maybe a 5, in my opinion. I feel like they could not touch each other.
Yes.
Could not keep their hands off each other in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also a very
agree.
arbitrary scale because, like, is it spice on how much sexual tension there is, or is it kink level, or
How much you're into nodding?
Just maybe like a general, like, overarching scale. We will have to make a couple others.
Yeah, that was another one that I don't remember. Those scenes did not stick with me, so it was low.
I just
Now that
remember
we're
they could
talking about
not
it,
keep their hands off each other.
that, yeah, and anytime they were in the room together, they just kind of like gravitated towards each other. I just remember the weekend at the cabin
Yeah.
between them.
And that's when she went into heat and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That'll do it.
With this author, Lana, what's her, Ferguson?
Ferguson.
So, 2 things. One, she has read a book called The Nanny. That's a more contemporary, not more. It is a contemporary romance. That is great spice, in my opinion. Very good. And then I saw a book called Lock and Found, like Loch Ness, spelled Loch, and it's a Loch Ness romance, Loch Ness monster romance book.
It's on my list.
I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out soon.
Here I go.
So I thought that would be fun.
Here, I gotta add
And
that
then-
one.
I think it will be fun, because I love, like, the mystery of Loch Ness.
Have you guys
So
ever
that's-
been to Lake Tahoe? So Lake Tahoe has Tahoe Tessie, and she's kind of like
Yeah.
the Loch Ness monster. Anyway, love it. Love
That's
it.
fun.
So the serpent book that I mentioned at the beginning, that's kind of what it's about, is like Loch Ness Monster, but
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All
he's
right.
in Essex.
I would like to do some honorable mentions for books that I would think are great books for Halloween, and just ones that I want to read. So first one was The Dowry of Blood, and that's a retelling of Dracula's partners throughout history.
Ooh.
There is like the smut is like maybe a 1, but the story is really good. I liked it and I enjoyed it. Another one that I read is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. I'm gonna be so honest, I remember reading it, I put my eyes out so much. I don't remember it other than that she like took care, it's like underworld vibe in a different area, but she's like a taker of souls, so she helps bodies process throughout the underworld. And then another one that I'm gonna read, it just came today, is called Sunsets and Other Dangerous Things, and it is a sapphic vampire romance. Stoked. So those are my honorable.
Okay, they're all on my list now. I have too many on my list, but they're on my list. Well, that's all we got.
Make sure to listen to us now on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah. Tell us what you're listening to this October. You know,
what are you into? Are you into vampires? Are you into Mothman's ass? Are you?
Tell us. Give us some Rex. Give us some monster.
We want to
Rex.
know.
Yeah.
Because I just end up reading the classics every Halloween, so I would love some new recommendations. So on our post about this episode, please go comment, give us some recommendations. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
And with that, thank you for listening, for coming back and supporting us. Keep on reading.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time, Inkstainers.
Till then.
That's not a good one. I don't like it.
Inkstainers. Yikes.
No. Yeah.